Namaste, my name is Linda. I am the passionate founder and owner of Continuum Buying Agency, a design and sourcing solution driven agency based in Gurgaon, just outside New Delhi in India. This is my story in a very quick summary. When I was a child, I was extremely happy by myself, just doing my own thing, sitting at home in my room, doing sketches and minimizing my time pretty much with everyone around me. I just wanted to be by myself and create anything that had an expression in terms of beautiful garments, in terms of sketches, in terms of embroideries. And that's what laid my foundation to my career choices and also what I choose to study to become professionally. At a very early age, I started making my own clothes. And I borrowed my mom's sewing machine and I started to construct my own garments. I made a beautiful collection by myself, which I was also wearing, though my parents were not necessarily the proudest of how it looked. But I was very proud of what I had managed to achieve in terms of expressions. And eventually, when I was 13 years old, I got a really nice job, an extra job in a fabric store, where I actually could really pursue my dream of not only just being creative, but realized that my creativity could be taken to the next level by helping the customer choosing the right fabrics for what they wanted to create on their side. But even more so, I saw that there was a need for a lot of customers that wanted to do something, but they considered the garment to be too difficult to stitch. And that's where I realized that I could actually help the client getting a piece of clothing made, or I could help them stitching the curtains and cushions, etc. This became an extra income for me, which of course in itself was a motivation because I had extra money to spend at all times. And at the same time, I had the passion to become better and better at what I was doing. I started servicing even more advanced level of clients where I made wedding dresses, ball gowns, etc. And of course, with all this experience and expertise that I gained, I chose naturally to walk into the life of what I always dreamt of becoming, and that was a fashion buyer. So I studied textile management at the university in my hometown Borås in Sweden. And it was 3 years of intense course. Side by side, I was working in the fabric store. I met a lot of amazing clients, of course. And immediately once I stopped my studying, which was one of the best eras of my life, I got a job as a purchase assistant for one of the bigger retailers in Sweden. And it was a quick journey within that company while I was in Sweden, because they were literally looking for young entrepreneurial people within the organization that were willing to go out and take internships abroad. And I ended up first in Istanbul for one of the Turkish license offices for that company, which eventually turned into an amazing offer to move to India at the mere age of just 25 years. It was shocking for my parents, of course, knowing that I would be moving to India totally by myself at the age of 25. Luckily, I was naive and I never realized that it was kind of quite a big decision that I took. My reasoning was that if worst comes to worst, I could always go back. And I could always, of course, and hopefully get a job within the company that sent me out. So it was 2000, in July 2000, that I packed up my bags and I left Sweden on a rainy morning in July. And a couple of hours later or a day later, I landed here in Delhi, and that was the beginning to my journey here. I started up a license office on behalf of a Swedish company called Lindex. It was a 1-year contract, and the first few days were horrendous. I was lonely. I felt really like I was the only person left on earth. I felt like there was very little support from everyone around me because I didn't know the country that I just moved to. I was indeed a young single woman that had come here, and India in those days were slightly different. There were somewhat always like a little bit of a threat and a risk being a woman walking around by herself, etc. So leaving that apart, it took me just a couple of days to get into the work role, and I loved my job really from the very first day. And the job is what kept me going and moving into not only what became my favorite job of the world, which was to actually start up this license office and really engage with the supply chain, but also I got a lot of really nice, good social friends here in Delhi. And this is how I started, and this is how I got into the actual biggest transition of my life. And I worked with this company for a year. After a year, I decided to resign because I have given a lot from my own side, but I never really got the chance to explore India for what it was. India for sure was like a really big part of my life. I loved India from day one, but I never got to travel for personal reasons. It was always business, the pressure was high. So I resigned, pretty determined that I would be able to find something to do, and if worst comes to worst, I would always go back to Sweden. When I resigned, that didn't come without challenges personally, because I come from a family and a background where salary every month has been the most fundamental, and that safety and security is what matters the most. And it doesn't matter if you're happy what you're doing for as long as you get the money or the paycheck at the end of the day. So of course, being here in India by myself, it was a little bit different, and my parents didn't necessarily support me, but it was something that I finally managed to get through. And probably one of the biggest challenges as well, because I was without a job, I didn't have an income. Luckily, I had met with a really nice guy, a Danish person in 2001 here. Of course, we moved together, and it was the two of us starting up something by ourselves. And in 2001, I started freelancing as a designer, working for some of the biggest exporters here in Delhi. I did freelance collections, and I got paid little by little, of course. And by coincidence, one day in one of the factories, I ran into a French guy that realized that he needed somebody to take care of his design developments, somebody that could sit between him and the Indian supply chain and bring transparency to the conversation, to make sure that goods would go out on time with the highest quality standards, as well as turning around new developments, making sure that the order closures would happen. So I started working with him. That's how I dropped my design assignments, because I needed to focus on being communicator and coordinator in between. And that's how Continuum Buying Agency, my company that is now 20 years old, was founded. The journey has always been extremely colorful, but not always easy. I believe that what has driven me throughout this whole journey is the passion for what I do. I love to create products that are of value for the customer, products that are beautifully made, mindfully crafted, with a typical traditional Indian heritage techniques, fused with my and my company's understanding for modern contemporary shapes and silhouettes, knowing that the kind of product that we are creating towards the end is something that is unique and something that is served on a silver platter to the final customers. And also what is driving me on a daily basis is for sure the fact that I get to see the difference that we are making, not only for our clients, but also for the supply chain in terms of forming business and scaling business opportunities together, but also to work hand in hand to become the best versions of ourselves, first and foremost professionally, of course, but also at the personal level. And as a unique company owner here in India with a different set of cultural values, like you would have when you come from Sweden and you operate in a totally different culture like India, what I really appreciate the most is the difference that I have been able to do for a lot of people around me by simply expressing the kind of cultural values and ethics and backgrounds that I have been gifted because of the culture and the country that I was born in. And it is that beautiful exchange that it keeps on inspiring me from day to day, and also that beautiful exchange that gives me a lot as an individual, independent person, where I'm surrounded by a different culture and I get to see all the glimpses, and I get to have the pleasure to meet with the people from all walks of life, especially here in India, and with the different background and perspective. It's just been a very enriching and amazing experience and journey for me. What I have learned as the most important lessons throughout my journey is very simple, that to achieve something in life, you have to be willing to work extremely hard and have faith in yourself and in your own dreams, and understand that you cannot always be liked by everyone. and you are not here to be liked by everyone. You are born in this world to follow through on your own dreams, and to make sure that while doing that, you're not compromising on the values that are important to yourself, such as your ethics and your ethical standards when you're dealing with business relationships, but also personal relationships. That you're not going to compromise on the most given things like punctuality, that a commitment is a commitment, that you live up to your whatever you have committed to a person, no matter what it is. That deadlines are deadlines, knowing that we are working with the global market and a deadline is to be met. It's not something that we can justify is something different because we're in India. So those are things that I really have applied throughout my whole life. And I also believe that integrity in everything we do, no matter how we have to do things and when we need to execute on it, is the most important. We have to do what always is right for ourselves, for the company's vision, for everyone around us, and never ever try to take the easy, convenient way out. So these are the biggest learning lessons. And of course, another aspect that is really important is to never give up. You will have good days, you will have good eras of your professional career, you will have tougher times, but you must always have faith and believe in yourself that you will find a way to get through it. And the way to do that is to always keep on moving no matter what people around you are saying, because you can easily be colored by others thinking that they know a little bit better, or they are simply there to try to protect you because they don't know better. So always follow through on your inner gut instinct. Let that be your guiding light. And in my opinion, with those ingredients, if you tick all those boxes, you can only be successful according to how you define that in your own way. So this is a little bit of my journey. I would like to inspire each and every one, especially young women, to dare to follow through on your dreams. It's about living your dreams. It's not about living somebody else's dreams, but it is about doing what feels right to you. To also know that it's okay to follow through on a dream and to fail, because at least if you fail, you know that you tried and you never need to have any regrets. And also one last piece of advice is actually that for as long as you know that you have always done your best with the given circumstances that you were placed in or with, then you can never ever be disappointed with yourself because you've given it all. Disappointment always kicks in if you haven't delivered your very best and you know deep inside that there was something that you could have done slightly differently, and maybe because of that you would also have been facing a much more pleasant outcome. So that's all from my side. I hope you found a little bit of value in this, and I can only wish you best of luck on your onward journey.